the Zodiac Killer. Why was this guy called guy, girl, whatever? Why were they called the Zodiac? And it was a name that they gave themselves. And so, throughout the whole investigation on this serial killer, they had a few different, suspects on who this was. So allegedly this person had, there's full hard evidence of this person having taken out at least 5 people. This person seemed to claim 37 instead. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to watch that show, Criminal Minds. I loved the show. I loved it because the thing is, I love the psychology of the whole thing. The psychology of how people work. And this was your typical ego kind of person that would infiltrate themselves just because they wanted to see themselves on TV and stuff like that. And they were just, I'm going to say, getting off on it, that kind of thing, right? So this person, there were only 5 confirmed murders. This person claims 37, but we have no idea. We have no idea, and there was no hard evidence of this person having left their signature behind at 37 different murders. So, now California at the time was notoriously corrupt. Even the LAPD at the time was known for being notoriously corrupt. And so it's hard to say as far as like the number of victims that this person claimed. With the fact that there's, a couple of suspects that they had and everything, which were obviously all of them were very disturbed. Okay. They were disturbed. There's no doubt that these men did something, but were they actually the original Zodiac Killer? I don't know about that. I think that they may have been like copycats. They may have been copycats or something like that and just wanted death by cop. That kind of thing. So, let's see, because like based on my notes here, yeah, so there was somebody named Earl Van Best Jr. His son was just like, I'm convinced that this is the Zodiac Killer. Thing is that Earl Van Best didn't fit the description that was given by the survivors of this guy. Earl Van Best was a kind of slender looking guy. Meanwhile, every single person who talked about this killer talked about how he was maybe somewhere between 5'9" and 5'11" or something like that, and stocky. So this Earl Van Best Jr., if you look at the pictures of this guy, not stocky. So not a stocky person at all. And the thing is that back then, that's before a lot of the weight gain of the United States, right? It's before the weight gain of a lot of the people in the United States. So not very many people were stocky. It's not like today where you can go out there and almost all of us are fat. And so back then it was noticeable when somebody was overweight. But anyways, so this person, they'd play games, he did a cipher and he'd send it in or whatever, which that cipher was finally figured out a couple of years ago, allegedly. And it happened in 2020, so of course I'm like questioning the whole thing. And so the FBI is all like, we're working on it, which, you know what that means. We're not going to go any further than that. Otherwise my agent that watches me might get mad. Anyway, so there's another guy here, Arthur Lee Allen. He looked pretty promising to be the killer himself. Even had a friend that said that he referred to himself as the Zodiac and wore a Zodiac brand watch, which had the same type of logo that was used as a signature and everything. But the problem is that the fingerprints don't match for things. They don't match. So, there was also another one called Lawrence Kane. He also had other stuff here, but he doesn't match some of the things. So they were never able to really find who this person is. I'm pretty sure, based on my own thoughts and concerns and stuff like that, that there's a bunch of copycats. is, what comes to my mind here when I think about this case is that I think of like, okay, so I think of the Robin Hood story. Obviously the Zodiac Killer, he was just like, I need slaves for the afterlife, because he's insane, right? I need slaves for the afterlife. But the thing is that, so if you think about the story of Robin Hood, stole from the rich to provide to the poor, right? Well, Robin Hood, the actual Robin Hood, I'm not talking Disney here, the actual Robin Hood name was associated with many, many people who all did the same thing, robbed from the rich to provide to the poor. It was a name of the person who's kind of like oh gosh, I had the word in my head. A person who goes out and takes care of things on their own, that kind of thing. What is that? Gosh, it starts with a V. It starts with a V. I can't even begin to like think of the word for some god-awful reason. It's a word that I use on a regular basis. I'm tired today, apparently. But anyway, so it's like basically these people that go out and they're like, a modern local hero, that kind of thing, which is typically illegal, right? Because, the government wants to control all of it. So, of course, that's illegal. God forbid, somebody take care of themselves or take care of other people. But anyways, so it reminds me of the Robin Hood story because of how I think that people were just adopting the name and using it as the excuse to do whatever the fuck they wanted. So I want to ask some questions in regards to this Zodiac Killer here, Spirit, if you can help me out here. What I want to know, of course, I have my ideas on what I think it is, but I always like kick my stuff out, okay? I always kick my preconceptions out and I let Spirit speak and I roll with that, okay? So sometimes what will come through will be different than what I've expressed to you. All right, so Spirit, can you tell me if the Zodiac Killer was just one person or if it was like a bunch of people, a bunch of just crazy people, please? We've got the King of Swords. It's one person. Interesting. We got Strength and Page of Swords that came out with it. Spirit's going to go all the way into their issues. Okay, so with this King of Swords here, we are seeing that it is somebody else who's very analytical and in control of it. Analytical and in control. So it is not a name that was intended to be used as I'm going to say Robin Hood type situation. Others just use the opportunity for it. So what I'm seeing here is like strength of, the strength card comes out with it. So this person had the strength to strengthen, I'm going to say ego as well. This is a Leo card. It is a Leo card, which means that they're, strong ego in here. And people with Leo placements are known to have strong egos. So, which this guy did. He inserted himself into the investigations. He'd call into radio shows. He'd do this and this, or not even call into a radio show. People would fake that it was him calling into a radio show to upset him. And he wrote in and said, no, that wasn't me. I'm not afraid of a gas chamber. That kind of thing. So, had a confidence about him, okay? Had a confidence about him. And he did a lot of observing with this Page of Swords. A lot of watching. And so, like I mentioned, with him inserting himself into, like, the newspapers, because he demanded that his letters be published into the press newspapers, because he would send these letters to the press. He demanded that the stuff be printed, using the press to do whatever he wanted, right? Oh, you print this or I'm going to kill some more, that kind of thing. And he loved the observation factor, Page of Swords. He loved to just watch it all. It was a game. It was a game. Now, we've got 6 of Cups and 3 of Cups in here. And I'm just mostly noting here that there's something deep down inside this guy that had issues, of course, with his family. Old memories, old cups shared. He just wanted to have some sort of connection with somebody. What's coming up here, and I don't want to bring that up, but I have to. I have to bring it up just because I don't like it. It doesn't mean it doesn't need to be said. This card right here is coming up in my attention here. And you notice that there's 2 apparent males. They appear to be males, anyways, older males, with a very young female with the 3 of Cups. Very young female. I am sure that the card is intended to be like siblings together that are enjoying themselves or something like that. But I'm getting indications of some sort of abuse. Some sort of abuse. He did threaten to go after a school bus full of children. So, and that Arthur Lee, whatever his name is, Arthur Lee, what was his name? Allen. Arthur Lee Allen. He was somebody who was sick as far as like when it comes to children. So, something like that is in there. There's some sort of problem as far as this is concerned. And what he kept saying was, I need slaves for the afterlife. Slaves. It's, you know, what's interesting is that gives me tones of like, you know, other Abrahamic religions that believe that there's, 40 virgins waiting for them, in the afterlife. Is it 40? Yeah, something like that. Some sort of number of virgins. And so, yeah, I don't, to me, that's just insane, as far as that's concerned, but this guy had a very similar viewpoint. Since it wasn't intended to be copycat type, and this guy had quit. Spirit, did this Zodiac Killer, the actual Zodiac Killer, the one that wrote all the letters and everything in, and wrote the cipher, is that person still alive? I heard a no. Whoa. No, okay. We've got the Hierophant and the 9 of Cups coming up here, confirming that. Hierophant is your higher self. Higher self, and the 9 of Cups talks about like self-satisfaction. So honestly, it kind of comes across that he passed away, happily. And there was a 2 of Cups behind it. Spirit, did he meet somebody? Did the Zodiac Killer meet somebody? Is that what happened? Show me. Queen of Wands, he did. Wow. And then we have King of Pentacles right underneath that. Queen of Wands. He found somebody that he couldn't resist. Found somebody that he couldn't resist. And this thing is driving me nuts. This ring is hurting me. Ouch. It's a cheap POS ring, but it's pretty. Take that shit off. Alright. Queen of Wands. Okay, so he met somebody. Okay, so did he pass? Okay, I was just going to say, did he pass in the last 20 years? Look at that. King of Pentacles came up again. I think he got married to her. King of Pentacles, he got married to her. He got married to his Queen of Wands. But he's dead. He's dead now. Did I say yes? He had passed? Yeah, okay. He had married her and stopped doing what he was doing. That's a turn that I didn't expect. Because to me, you're insane. But apparently, 6 of Cups, 3 of Cups and everything, there's something that this Queen of Wands helped heal inside him. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Show me the Sun. They were very happy. Wow, okay. Does the Zodiac Killer have descendants out there? 10 of Swords, no. But in 9 of Swords, it stressed them out that they didn't have any descendants. Okay. Okay. When did he pass away? The dates that are popping up in my head are between 85 and 90. 1985 and 90. And look at that, we get the death. I love how in these readings here, this death card always comes up, because we're talking about death, right? We're literally talking about death. We've got 2 of Swords and Queen of Cups. Oh. Okay. So he passed away sometime between 85 and 90. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. So he passed away sometime between 1985 and 1990. What's interesting that came up with that is we've got Queen of Cups and the 2 of Swords. To me, this tells me that suddenly something happened between him and Miss Queen of Wands. Something happened. And he was blocked from it. Something bad. Maybe there was a split. Maybe there was a split or something and he couldn't take it. A lot of times these killers, they have problems with like their mothers, okay? They have a lot of times they have psychological problems with their mothers that they haven't addressed. And so if this Queen of Wands reminded him of his mother, and then suddenly she rejected him again, right? Again. It would devastate him. It would devastate him. And potentially, you know, he would take himself out. Yeah. We got the Devil popping out here. Devil, Tower, 8 of Swords. Holy shoot. I mean, look at all this stuff right here. I mean, this guy, so whatever this is it upset him so much. He had so many inner problems in regards to these old memories and stuff. It took him out at that point. Wow. Okay. Let's change up decks here. I want to ask questions. And I want to ask about like whether he continued killing or not. And if he just stopped with the ego thing, you know? Spirit, so after he met this person, did he continue to kill people? Did he continue to murder people? Okay. Excuse me. We have 7 of Pentacles. No, he did not. He stopped. This is stagnancy. This is a pause. It is a pause. He stopped. Wow. Okay. I am so intrigued. 8 of Swords again and Temperance. His mind trap. He had a mind trap going on and this girl healed it. This girl healed it. But I'm interested to see, like, how that works, you know what I mean? Because, like, we don't hear a lot about these, you know, serial killers that suddenly come out of it. Like, what happens if you, I'm going to say, assuage the wound? Because there's a wound that causes this whole thing in the first place, right? There's a wound that causes this thing in the whole first place. I've never seen something about a recovered serial killer, you know what I mean? I've never seen anything like that. I'm sure there is something like that out there. Somebody who never got caught, you know, somebody who never got caught or anything like that, didn't have too much of an ego to get it all out there. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles, and then found something stable and secure and moved forward. So that's almost like what happened to this guy. Found something stable and secure that stabilized his Eight of Swords brain, his mind prison that he was in. But then something happened between the two of them, and he took himself out. Somewhere between 1985 and 90. Justice. Queen of Pentacles. She divorced him right here. She divorced him because here's where the King of Pentacles is, right? So like I said, he married his Queen of Wands. Well, here's the Queen of Wands. Or Queen of Pentacles right here. So here's the matching card for this King of Pentacles, right? And when you have the Justice card coming out, that is symbol of like the justice system. Also, you know, the court system and everything. Divorce card. So she divorced him. Why? Why did she divorce him? I'm going to back out of that because I feel like I feel like the answer to that may be none of my business. I'm going to back out of that. Let me ask a different question. Does the divorce have anything to do with him being the Zodiac Killer? Does the divorce have anything to do with that, like her finding out about that or anything like that? Does it have anything to do with that? We've got Six of Pentacles and Eight of Cups. I'm going to say that answer is no. No. I don't think he knew how to have a good relationship or be like healthy in a relationship. There was no balance. And the balance that they did have in their relationship, because we've got temperance here, because she did heal him a little bit and bring a bit of balance. They did have their own particular flavor of balance, and she walked away from it. So I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that he'd killed people and then gloated about it. That's crazy. Alright, is there any way that we can find who this person is? Are there any like tips or anything to find out who this person is? I'm sure that there's no freaking way. I'm sure there's no way. Or if somebody does know, like the FBI, they ain't gonna tell anybody. Is there any... Okay. We've got the Page of Swords. So that's a common thing that came up here earlier too. Page of Swords. So the clues of who this guy is are out there. Is there a clue that you can give me that maybe would help somebody kind of figure it out? Because it wouldn't be me. We've got the Star, the Sun, and the Four of Swords. There's been something that, okay. So there's been something that's been hidden, or been put to rest. Four of Swords. Something that's been put to rest or kind of laid down is inactive. Inactive, or what's the word I'm looking for? Possibly it could have been looked at as like not worth it. But the thing is that if you start thinking about what could be, what could have happened, and stepping outside the box, this is an Aquarius card, this star card. If you start stepping outside of the box and looking at what could, other potential things, looking at, something will come to light with the sun. Something was put to rest as if it didn't matter. I know the case in general was. The case in general was put to rest as if it didn't matter. But that's not what they're referring to. They're referring to there's a certain bit of evidence that was put to rest. So I'm betting that if you go through the files, and what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing like cases of like paperwork. If you were to go through the files, you would find something where you're like, oh, that doesn't matter. And all we need is someone to be like, but what if it did? That's that Aquarius card. What if it did matter? And then more stuff would come to light. And you could track down who this guy is. You could track it down. He obviously doesn't present, a danger to us anymore in regards to things. I mean, obviously he's gone. Long gone. But, just to kind of close it out. I don't know, we all like to shut that door finally, right? Instead of leaving it kind of cracked open. All right, well, this was fun. Thanks so much for joining me and everything. If you have any suggestions for any future ones to look into, feel free to leave it in the comments. Be sure to check out the other ones in the playlist here with like Marilyn Monroe and all that. It's a lot of fun to just look into these things. And I will see you next time.